So welcome to another episode of Beers with Beresford, the place where we drink beer and and talk about marketing and marketing technology and all things social media. Today we are blessed to be joined by Kendra Ross, who is the Director of Marketing at an amazing video marketing agency called Oak and Rumble. And she's also famous for being one of the first people to tell founders that no one cares about their technology.
I don't think I'm one of the first.
I'm
one of the loudest.
She certainly was very quick to tell us that no one cares about our technology, which was nice and healthy and refreshing. Thank you very much for taking some time out of your day.
Thank you for having me.
So before we get started, what are you drinking? Why?
Oh, I'm drinking a Granville Pale Ale.
Granville Pale Ale.
Granville is a great brewery.
BC,
they have
Vancouver, is it the one
BC.
in downtown Vancouver? Yeah.
Granville Islands.
Oh, it's on, okay, yeah.
And they have a winter ale that tastes like Christmas, so you should definitely drink that. It's at the beer store now.
If you're ever visiting Vancouver, you get the little water taxi over to Granville Island, have a beer at the brewery. It's amazing.
So good.
Okay, I'm going with the Coors Banquet, in part because it's delicious, and also in part it's one of those ones where the marketing absolutely worked. For some reason, the color of the can absolutely influenced my purchase.
Really?
I have no idea why.
See,
it's not even like a cool craft beer. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You guys are a video marketing agency. When most agencies want to be all things to all people, you guys have put a flag in the ground that says we're going to be a video marketing agency.
Video.
How did you end up here? Why is this the trajectory for Oak and Rumble?
So for me personally, I was a copywriter for a long time, and I personally really believe in the power of storytelling. And we've kind of shifted from that being really effective in terms of telling, like writing a story and writing the blog and writing the novel and being able to put a face on it and have someone actually be in front of you, like me or John or whoever, actually telling that story. And as soon as I started to see that video was more effective than all the copy I could write in the world, it's like, this is what we have to do. And I was really lucky to know Dave and Brandon, who are the co-founders of Oak and Rumble, and they're super talented, so yeah.
So it literally is, if a picture's worth 1,000 words, then a video's worth 1 billion
I
words.
shouldn't even start writing.
Okay.
I mean, I'll write all these surrounding copy, but the real emotional hook is in the video.
Okay.
Nothing I could write could compare to that.
That's right. And is a lot of your work in the B2B space, where typically video is seen as less interesting? Like video we think of as usually consumer marketing videos. You think of Apple's 1984 commercial, you think of the Super Bowl commercials like that. Yeah. But you guys are done a lot of work in B2B.
A lot of B2B. Yeah, it's actually, we've spoken about this a lot, right? Because influencer marketing is also seen as something that's really B2C, and that's where it's effective. But B2B has this huge need to keep people's attention for long periods of time, right? If you're thinking about a buying cycle, B2C, you might find something on Twitter in one moment and then go to Amazon and buy it 30 seconds later. But in B2B, you have to hold people's attention and command attention of multiple people in an organization over sometimes months, right? So video can be a really helpful tool for not just marketing, but also sales teams, customer service teams, really across the board in holding that attention. And influencer marketing too, right? If you can have someone else telling that story, aside from top-down messaging from a brand, all of a sudden that becomes more authentic, genuine, and powerful.
Exactly. So I love that you mentioned this, because we started talking about this not too long ago, and it's absolutely captivated me. Typically, video marketing to me is the shiny, sexy Pepsi commercial.
Yeah, those are fun.
But that's what typical video marketing in my brain is reserved to. But you're saying that video can be used in a number of different ways. Like typically we think of video as brand awareness. So we want people to know about the brand, we want people to talk about the brand. And in a B2B sense, as soon as someone's kind of interested, now it's time for white papers, now it's time for a technical demo from a sales rep. But you guys are saying and finding success in taking elements further down the funnel and incorporating video. I've heard of that far less.
Yeah, it's and it's interesting because it's just as effective, right? Like there's if you put the word video in the subject line of an email, your open rates go up by like at minimum 16%, and click-through rates go up by like 65%. Like, it's crazy, right? And that could just be like you talking to your webcam saying, you know, hey Kendra, wish I could talk to you about this today. Do you have any time on Friday? You know, here's a couple quick things about me. Coffee? And immediately the chance of response is like we did it in our own kind of cold emails, and we had like a 95% response rate. Like, it was crazy.
So you're taking even what would be perceived by most businesses as like this mundane sales pitch.
Yeah, no, and all of a sudden
turn
it's
it
personal,
into video,
and it's you. It's not just a form email, it's a person talking to you. Right? It feels less automated, even if it is, right? So taking that video, and it's not just sales, right? It can be like product demos can be really great on landing pages, so your marketing team's going to be happy. They have another thing for their page. Sales is happy because if they're doing, you know, product walkthroughs, they can just send something to a client instead of wasting 30 minutes. And then customer service is happy because they have something for their pages as well, and if they're having trouble talking a client through something, they can just send this product walkthrough. Easy. One video across all places in the funnel.
See, that I love, because in sales, you know as well as anyone that like a lot of our time is just spent hacking through emailing and phone calling so that we can get time to do that thing that you can easily record in a video and sort of minimize that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then bonus points for, I know you guys talk a lot about it, influencer marketing is what you do. And so bonus points again for having that message come from someone that's not your corporate brand, right? People don't want to hear from a non-entity. They want to hear from you, right? So if you have your influencer delivering those messages, whether it's unboxing a product for the first time or giving the testimonial or something like that, you know, that's, again, light years more powerful.
And then what would you say to people who would sort of argue that, you know, that sounds like a good idea, and I totally get it. You know, like, I would rather watch the movie than read the book, and so the same thing could be said about the white paper or product demo.
For sure.
So what would you say to people who would mention, you know, I think getting influencers to create video is going to be too much work, or trying to create customer service videos is actually going to be more work than it solves?
Than it's worth,
What do you say to those folks?
I mean, influencer marketing and video marketing together, I mean, it's so perfect, right? Like, one of the biggest barriers for brands who are considering video is cost, right? And getting influencers to create that video content for you is essentially free. You're only investing your resources. And some of the barriers for entering influencer marketing is resources. Like, this is going to be really time consuming. But if you're putting the video element over it, you know it's not time consuming for one social video. You know it's time consuming for something that multiple areas of your business are going to be able to leverage forever. It's not going to be gone in a day. It's going to be something that lives on your website and is sent in your sales emails and all of that.
It's so true. And one of the things we're trying to convince people, influencer marketing particularly, people look at it as like just the number of followers you have.
I know, it's
and
so
instead, the real benefit is, wait a second, we just found someone who's putting out such amazing content. 9,000 people have decided to follow them. And so instead of thinking of influencer marketing as the number of followers you have, think of it as there's a person who's clearly producing awesome content. If not, they wouldn't be having this many people follow them.
Well,
and so think of it as content
generation too, right? Like, it's not just like lots of people can, like, follower spam is a thing. You can follow someone, they'll follow you back. So it's easy to artificially inflate that number, but engagement is what's key for you guys.
Well, and then key for the brands too. So, and I wonder if there's a scenario where people that are producing good content and the ones with great engagement, they didn't get there right away. They've been honing their craft, creating better videos, understanding what resonates with their audience. So you're actually getting someone, not just who has 10,000 followers, but someone who's figured out what their audience wants to hear and how they want to hear it and that sort of stuff. That's amazing.
So I mean, there are those kind of real communities that exist online just as much as in real life. And if you're finding the people who have the voice in those communities, I mean, you're adding with video the second layer of authenticity, but you're finding them anyway, right? They're there, and they're what they're saying resonates already. So just kind of encouraging them to actually go that one step further and say,
I mean, they've got a built-in tribe. They are part of that tribe.
Totally.
They're an authentic voice, and they can produce great content.
Yep.
So another question I'm sure you get asked, and we certainly get asked being in a sort of micro-influencer marketing space is, people think, well, where do I start? How do I work with influencers to create videos? What's that process even look like? How do you advise people?
So the really interesting thing is, and we just talked about this, is that people are in those tribes and communities already, right? And if you're talking to them, they clearly already have an interest in the problem that you're solving, right? Good brands and good companies and good products solve problems. And if you found these people in these communities, they're already interested in what you're talking about and the problem that you're solving for that community, right? And people are generally willing to help you out if you ask them, right? I think this is the same advice you guys give. It's just go talk to these people, right? Like go actually just have the conversation. So I was talking to Emil McLean, who runs Open Sky,
right.
And they're helping launch a brand right now that's a micro distillery. So
this is my favorite story of the week.
Yeah, I love it. So they're doing, I think, vodka and gin, he said, and their plan for launch is going out and actually filming their discussions with everyone that they talk to. So
like,
when
so
you're
filming their sales calls.
Yeah, so essentially, so I guess when you're a distillery, you sell to retailers as well as direct to consumer, right? So you need to go into these bars and convince them to offer your gin and your vodka in the bars. So they're planning.
Sips, everyone's happy.
Yeah, exactly. So they're going into these bars and saying, can we film you? And people are saying yes because it's good publicity for the bar too. And they're just talking to a bartender.
Even
usually,
though
right?
it's a distribution sales call.
Totally.
Even though it's like a proper,
but again,
we'd like you
call.
to arrange our product.
You're in person.
I know, but it's still,
I know.
I'm trying to sell. I mean, we do in-person sales meetings all the time, and it would never in a million years dawn on me to somehow record those interactions and turn them into content.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So they record the interactions, and people are asking these really great questions, and then they're taking this video and not only just putting it on social because they're trying to get people kind of invested in their journey, right? They're a micro distillery, but also then taking that content and breaking it down, and then you can use it, right? So if someone asks you a really great question, you have your response to them in this interaction with this person who stocks these beverages. You can then take that content, throw it in an email, and send it to someone else that you're talking to when they ask something similar, right? Like, here's the interaction, here are all these great questions that this other person asked me. Here's that discussion. Let me know what you think.
So record one sales call, send it to 5 more potential clients.
Scalability.
So that is an amazing story. I don't know if every industry and every product's going to be able to pull
Probably
it off, but
not.
it is pretty awesome to try.
And it's lower in the funnel, right? It's not that awareness video. It's an actual discussion with a person. So beyond that, then they have that relationship with that bartender and with the establishment, right? They've now given something back to the establishment in that they're publicizing this and saying, go here, go here. They're selling us. They've tied themselves to that place in a really powerful way. So it's easy then to go back to the bartender and say, hey, can you just shoot some videos of yourself mixing drinks with this gin? Of course, because they're invested now, right? And now you have social content for your B2C side of your business going out on social profiles that, again, are not coming top-down messaging for your brand.
We will need to have you back in a couple of months to hear how this actually went.
You should talk to Emil. Yeah.
That's awesome. So one of the theories, though, I love that comes out of this is this notion of every stage of your business where you typically have a written document.
Oh, yeah.
That there's no reason.
No reason you couldn't have a video
that can't be converted
document.
into video.
Yeah.
And it's really a novel idea to me.
Yeah.
I think that's so neat.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because you have these even really technical companies. Like at Oak and Rumble, we work quite a bit with tech companies in town. And there are lots of them who are doing their case studies. Instead of doing kind of a formal written case study about a business that's used your product and here are the results, instead of that, you do a video that's essentially you just interviewing the president or the influencer in the business who championed the use of this product. And so you have the story coming directly from them with their face on your website and material that you can then use as part of your sales marketing process.
It just makes too much sense. It's one of those things that I think people watching this will think to themselves, oh, how have I not thought to do this?
It feels like common sense, but it's scary, right?
But to be fair to the layperson like myself who's not a video expert, my instant response is that, oh no, this is going to cost a fortune.
Yeah, no.
So how do you coach people off a cliff of this thing of, producing one video must cost a fortune. Of course I can't produce 3 for my sales team and 3 for my customer success team and 3 for customer support.
Yeah.
So how do you coach people through that?
So the interesting thing is usually video, I mean, the really expensive video is like the commercial top of funnel awareness.
Michael Jackson's
Yay
hair
brand.
getting
Yeah,
caught on fire.
Totally.
In the Pepsi
Those
commercial.
kinds of videos, I mean, those reasonably cost a fortune.
Right.
They take a lot of work to produce. But that shouldn't be the first video you make anyway, right? Like, why are you not sitting in front of your webcam being like, hey, John or Kendra or whoever it is, nice to talk to you today. Again, like, here's a couple things that I know about your brand. Can I buy you coffee? Would love to chat about it. That should be the first video you make, right? Reaching out to the influencers, the people on Twitter who are already retweeting and talking about your brand, reaching out to those people and saying, hey, can you make it? I mean, you're doing this right now, right? Like, we are an influencer for you. You have me here talking to you. It's on video.
We're about to blow up.
We shared it.
All the investors have passed on us.
I know.
It's a sad day for you right now.
You're welcome.
It's about to blow up. Things are about to blow up.
Right? But this is something that you guys are doing.
Right.
Like, this is the example of that, and
Right.
it cost us nothing except our time.
And so that's it. People can start small. And you must get that all the time.
Totally.
My clients think, oh, if it doesn't look like a polished commercial, then I don't want to have it as part of my brand.
See, and people worry too, and I'm sure you guys get this with influencer marketing, right? Like, people worry about everything that can go wrong, right?
You do, absolutely. They're like, well, what if someone says something bad?
Yeah, what does it make my brand look like? I mean, like, I say this all the time, like, no one wants a Stepford wife brand, right? Like, there's so much crap on the internet. You don't like those people. You don't like your friend who always has like the 3 kids who always look perfect and they're always sitting there in like matching outfits and that's all they post on Instagram. Like, no one actually likes that person, right? They don't. And it's no different when it's a corporate brand.
You envy their brand.
You envy them, but you don't relate to that.
Because as soon as you pan back, it's just chaos.
Just a disaster,
Diapers
right?
and toys. Right.
Yeah. Right? You don't relate to that. You have no real connection with that person. You just have a lot of envy. And it's that way with a brand too. You don't want someone talking down to you all the time. You want to engage with them.
Right. And this allows your employees to become part of your content creators. It allows the influencers in your community to be content creators for you.
Yeah.
That's
and
amazing.
it's okay if there's a little, it's okay if it's raw.
like,
okay.
Like this video.
It makes people like you. They like you more.
This is our 7th beer. So this
No comments.
So we've built a company off of the belief that micro-influencers and using those people that are closer to the customer, are closer to the market, are more effective than a celebrity or someone who's got 500,000 followers on Instagram or something like that.
Yeah.
What's your perspective on using micro-influencers versus what we would call traditional influencers, which are somewhat celebrities in their own right?
I mean, especially in B2B, like, of course you want micro-influencers. You want your real people, right? Like, you want someone to go to a trade show and run into the person who you used as a testimonial in that sales email, right? Like, you want them to run into them on the street or be able to message them on Twitter and get a response.
And it's because they're accessible, and it's
Totally.
because they're probably more authentic than someone who...
Yeah.
And they're more relatable, right? If it's local, if it's someone within your community or someone within your industry, then
Yeah.
they're more relatable. And it's,
I mean, how great would it be if you had this really complex B2B product and you're like 3 months into a sales cycle and you've talked to like 10 people at a company and you send them a case study and they're like, oh yeah, I know that guy.
right, that's right. He works for it. Better we
Huge.
know when, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely, we get it. And that's, and so from your side of the business, where do you see all this going in the next few years? So we're saying videos, video is super important. I love your notion of using video further down the stack. What's the Oak and Rumble plan to sort of take over the world? How do you see this going?
Oh, well, who needs to take over the world? We just need to help one business at a time. No, but I mean, Cisco published a study just the other day saying by 2020, like 75% of internet traffic is going to video, right? Like, that's huge. People want to watch it. B2B executives want to watch it.
Right.
B2C, like, consumers want to watch it, right? Like, millennials, I mean, you guys talk about this all the time, right? Millennials want to consume content from people that they know,
Right.
right? And video helps brands, and specifically video created by influencers helps brands level that playing field and cut through that clutter. So, I mean, I don't see that trend going away anytime soon.
No, we don't either. There's a lot of companies like Vidyard and folks like that have bet the
Totally.
entire farm on video just taking over and dominating.
Yeah, and smartly. Yeah.
Well, and as folks like you guys are producing great content, but then the average Joe can actually produce
100%.
really great content right now. So, like
Yeah.
your point. Okay.
All right.
So people are thinking, they're hearing this.
Yeah.
Deep down,
They're
they're
excited.
they're excited, but they're also getting it. They're like, yes, I should be doing more video.
Yeah.
So we go to work with an agency like yours, or we're looking at doing video. What's the tangible ROI people should be thinking of? What should they be framing the value case in their own head? And then how do they get started?
Yeah, the ROI, that's a good question. Like when we start working with a client, the first thing we ask is what are the goals, right? Are you coming to us with a challenge? Are you coming to us with a specific campaign? Like what's our goal here? And it really depends because there is a ton of different places that you can use video in your entire funnel and for your other teams and all of that. So sometimes the ROI is, sales, sometimes it's big picture reach things, right? Like sometimes it's growing your following on your social profile. So, I mean, it really depends on the business and on the campaign.
Okay.
How do you get started? I mean, you start, right?
But to your point, you were saying start
Yeah.
small.
Start small.
Stop trying to think that you need to produce, some crazy elaborate
Yeah.
Michael Bay movie. Instead,
Yeah.
let's just start.
You
with
mentioned
it.
Vidyard earlier. Like they have a great product called Viewed It.
Yeah, it's awesome for recording.
Amazing,
Yeah.
right? You just set it up, you can record and attach those videos of yourself right in your email. Awesome. Like start there.
Right, and free plug for Vidyard. When you record the videos and send it, so you make it easy to send, it also gives you a report to see if the person you sent it to watched it. How much did they watch? Did they watch it more than once, which is critical for
Yeah,
sales.
analytics are huge.
But it's
Yeah.
a good example of don't be afraid to get started with video.
Yeah.
Just get started.
Just get started. And influencer marketing, how do we tie that in?
Well, so it's interesting. We face the same problem you do, where having software isn't enough, right? To just
Yeah.
go, hey, here's this software, and you can use it as a research tool isn't enough. What we're finding, and what we've done is we've built the platform that allows you to, there's certainly technology there that's powering it. That's
Yeah.
reaching across social. There's no database of limited influencers. But what we've done is the same thing as you guys. We have our solution is more than just the software. We have a team that works with you to get you started,
Yeah.
does your influencer discovery for you. You peruse them, look at all the analytics, decide who you want to work with, and then as part of the platform we have influencer recruitment, so that you just
Yeah.
get to work with people who have signed up to your campaign and are ready to go, and you don't have to do any of the other work. And so for us it's the same thing, in convincing people that we can get started right away, that
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a big burden on your organization. So that's sort of where we've landed as well.
Yep.
It is such a pleasure to see
Yeah.
you. I haven't seen you in a long time,
know,
so
it's
this is
been a
great.
while.
We should, when the cameras go off, we should keep drinking beer and
I'm
catching
sure we
up.
will.
But thank you so much. So thanks so much to Kendra Ross from Oak and Rumble. They are a video agency, but they're more than just a video agency. They are, if you need your videos to power your business, Oak and Rumble are the folks you need to talk to for enterprise results-driven storytelling, which is awesome.
Awesome.
So thanks again. Until next time. We will see you later.
Cheers.